So what is DNS? This DNS is also a server, domain name system. DNS, domain name system, port number is 53. What DNS server will do? It maps name to IP address. DNS server maps name to IP address. Okay, what name it is? Like a host name or FQDN or domain wise names. For example, I have a domain called a contasso.com. Okay, generally contasso.com. In that one, I have a server one is there. So this server one name is originally we have to write like a server one dot contasso.com. Okay. So this server one IP address is mapped into a DNS server. What is the use? For example, there is a client. One second. Okay. For example, there is a server. Name is server one. It is a server. Name is server one, and it contains an IP address. For example, 172.16.1.11. This is my server IP address. I want to communicate to this server one, but I don't have an IP address of server one. I don't know IP address of this server one. So what is this client will do it? Okay. So what is this device will do? So he don't know the IP address of server one, but he know the name of the server one contasso.com. So he send a request to this DNS server and asking, I want an IP address of this server one. IP address of this server one. So DNS server will check it. Yes, contasso.com is there. Under that one, S1 is there. And this is the IP address 172.16.1.1. So it returns the server one's IP address. So now I got IP address. Then I will communicate to this server one with the IP address. Guys, always remember all communications by IP address only, not with the MAC address, not with the names. Exactly say how the DNS server works. We can say simply like mobile phone. We have a lot of contacts nowadays, right? For example, I have a mobile phone. I have to call to my father or my mother or my sister or my brother or like that, right? So there are having phone numbers. I want to call to my office, my colleagues or someone, right? Friends. What happens? So everybody having phone numbers, but I cannot remember all phone numbers. What I have to do it? What I have to do? I create a contact list in the mobile phone, right? I will create a contact list. Person name and categorize the person like is a friend or maybe working in this organization. Earlier I worked in an organization like a CMS organization. So I put a CMS first. CMS name and Savantis or Vedic soft. Okay. So I'll put their name like a Ravan sir or maybe Iprakash sir or maybe Pawnee madam, Ruxana madam. Those who are there. So then I will put their name and a phone number. So when I'm trying to call, so I will open their name and dial. But originally call goes with a phone number only, right? We are communicating with the phone number, not with the name, because the name does not known by anyone. Means your telephone department don't know the names. They know only numbers. Similarly, we have a different type of server like a google.com is there, facebook.com is there, w3schools.com is there, WhatsApp is there. So a lot of servers, a lot of devices are there. You want to communicate to them. So then what we required, we need to know their IP address. To communicate to google.com, you need a google.com IP address. You want to communicate YouTube, then this is the studio.youtube.com. Okay, just use www.youtube.com, mail.google.com, bmc.com. Okay, to communicate to them, so we need a IP address of that devices, right? We need an IP address of that devices. So, but we don't know the IP address. First of all, even if you know, and we can note down that IP addresses we can contact. But every day we don't use only a fixed contact list, right? So what we will do, it will depends upon the server called DNS server. What is this DNS server will do it? For example, I open my browser, I put a www.google.com. I don't know IP address. So then my PC send a request to the DNS server and ask for an IP address of www.google.com. And DNS server check the in their list is what is the IP address of google.com. Then it returns the IP address of google.com to our PC. Now you know the IP address, then you will contact the google.com with the IP address. Okay. Again, I'm telling guys, all communications by IP address, not with a name, not with a MAC address. Okay. So DNS server maps name to IP address. Okay. So whenever the client requests for a IP address of particular domain or a particular host, so the DNS server returns the IP address of that particular device or a host or a domain, under domain or kind of stuff. Okay, so this is a DNS. Very simple. What is DNS? DNS, domain name system, port number is 53. DNS server maps name to IP addresses. So when our client requests for an IP address of particular host or a with a name, just send a request IP address with a name. So DNS server returns the IP address of that particular server or a device or a PC IP address. Okay. And example for a DNS server is a mobile phone contact list. Example for a DNS, easy to understand. Example for a DNS is mobile phone contact list. Okay. So we have a contact list, under that one name and phone number. When you are making a call, so we open the name, we search a name and we dial. So but actually call goes with a phone number only. Same way, we open a website or a something like we open a website or we are trying to communicate to a particular host in a domain, but we don't know the IP address. So DNS server will give you the IP address of particular host or a particular server, particular domain, particular based on URL like that. Okay, that is what is the www and all I will explain. So don't worry that one. Okay, so this is the answer, guys. Okay, so you got a question. What is DNS? Domain name system. Port number 53. DNS server maps name to IP address. Client send a request to know the IP address of a particular host or a server. Any name you can use it. Okay, So DNS server returns the IP address of Google. For example, you can use an example for explaining, guys. That is, example will, if you try to say with an example, meaning is you understand better. Okay, I'm explaining with example to make you understand. Not only that one, guys, you whenever in an interview, if you are trying to explain with an example, including like a incident management, problem management, okay, so or a cloud or anything, you're trying to explain with an example. That is, meaning is your interior things you understand. Okay, you should understand, right? The by hearting sentences, okay, no problem. A lot of people, lot of material is there, so you can able to tell an answer. Okay, point is you understand better means you can able to tell with an examples. Like you open a w3schools.com. So my system don't know the IP address of w3schools.com. So I will contact the DNS server. The DNS server return the IP address of w3schools.com. Okay, so now I can able to communicate or send a request to the or communicate to the w3schools.com. Or I open a Gmail, mail.google.com, mail.google.com. So I don't know the IP address of mail.google.com. Okay, I send a request to the mail.google.com. Sorry, I will send a request to the DNS server. DNS server returns the IP address of mail.google.com. Now I can able to communicate with the mail.google.com. I will give you one small example to understand. Already told example. Just I will show you the IP address part. See, I want to ping www.google.com. I'm sending a ping request. I'm doing a ping request. Ping means packet internet grouper, right? What is the use of ping? To test the communication between source and destination. Okay, whether communication is there or not. Okay, this is the ping test. Now I'm trying to send a ping using ICMP protocol. I'm sending a echo request. Why I'm telling all these things? Okay, very simple. I'm trying to ping to www.google.com. Now when you see here, it is a ping is successful, but observe this one, pinging to www.google.com. First of all, I got IP address. Then I send a packets to this IP address. I send a packet to this IP address, and I am receiving a packet from this particular IP address. So ping is two-way. Ping means you are pinging to the destination, means this is source, this is destination. You are pinging, you send a ping request to the destination. Destination receive your request and send a packet to you back. Echo type. It is called a echo mechanism. That's it is called ping. Means you send a ping request, you will get a ping response. Echo request, echo response. Okay, it is exactly say echo request, echo response. Okay, so that's why on your screen it is showing reply from destination IP address. Reply from destination IP address. Meaning is your ping is successful. So you are able to reach and get a return from there. Means two-way communication is clear. You sent 4 packets, you received 4 packets, and no loss in it. So this is the ping is successful. And main point is DNS. How you got this IP address? From DNS server only you are getting. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So same example here written. Okay, guys, the domain hierarchy is little point. Okay, so here I told I will explain about a domain part, right? So google.com is a domain. It's a domain. It's a name is google.com. In that one I have a different servers. under google.com domain, I have a different servers are there. Okay. So each server name is like this. For example, just for understanding, www. It can be any name, but it's also a fake name. It is, but think like it is a server www. Now the FQDN means fully qualified domain name for this one is www.google.com. It is my web server. So it provides web pages. So I put a www server name, google.com domain name, and FQDN is www.google.com. And I put a DOCS. So we are using documents, right? Here it is docs.google.com. Okay. Then this name is become docs.google.com. This is another server. Okay. And mail dot. This name is mail. This server name is, it's a mail server. Server name is mail.google.com. See, only one domain, but multiple servers with the different names, and each name is like this. Okay. Anything under google.com? Maybe I didn't remember anything under google.com. Yeah, we have a lot of things in google.com. Mail, YouTube, Meet. Meet is there. That is like in online classes, like Meet. Meet.google.com. So how many are there? 4 are completed. Now go to google.com. So this is my DNS server. Some DNS server is there. Okay. Some name is there for a DNS server for a google.com. This is a google.com DNS server. Okay. In that one again, we have a records. So this is my DNS server. We have a records under google.com. Like this. So www, and this server www server IP address. Okay, some IP address is there now. DOCS server, some IP address. Mail server, IP address. Meet server, their IP address. Okay, so it is in this DNS server. In this DNS server, we have this information. This is not my DNS server. So google.coms, they are having a DNS server. In that server, it will notify. I will connect all points later. Okay, understand. So why these different names are there? Each name represent a different server, a different host. Host means a computer. Either it is a server or a laptop or a desktop. It is called a host. Okay, it means it is a machine. It is a machine. Okay, so these headers like a www, a DOCS, or a mail or meet or anything. Okay, so this is like an individual server. This is mail.google.com, docs.google.com, meet.google.com are FQDNs. FQDN, fully qualified domain names. Fully qualified domain name. We are communicating www.google.com, right? I want this IP address. I want this IP address. I want this IP address, like that. Okay. So this is the original view. Okay. A lot of things are there. So do not worry. Okay. See, domain name is a contest.com. There is a server in the domain called server 1. The FQDN is server1.contest.com. So this is called a FQDN, fully qualified domain name. You have a computer. Computer has a name. That name we call it as a NetBIOS name. the computer name is mapped to your IPv4 address. So that type of mapping is in the NetBIOS mapping. Okay, NetBIOS means your computer name. NetBIOS represent your computer name, which is mapped to your IPv4 address. If your computer name is mapped to IPv6 address, this NetBIOS name is become LLMNR. Okay, so we have a DNS server, but earlier we have another naming service. Another naming service is there, that is called a Windows Internet Naming Service. WINS server is there. WINS server is like a DNS server. DNS server is also a naming service. Okay, both are naming services, name servers. DNS server is a name server, naming service. Okay, but problem with WINS server is works only with Windows operating system, Windows servers kind of stuff only, not in a mixed mode like a Windows Linux mode. It won't work. This protocol, this WINS service only dedicated to Microsoft related. And there is another one is there in Windows.
Sir, what is the full form of LLMNR? LLMNR.
This one, LLMNR.
Yes.
LLMNR. Link local multicast name resolution. NetBIOS and LLMNR protocols used to resolve the name on a local networks. Their main function is to resolve the host name to facilitate communication between hosts on the local network. Means you have a computers in your local network, computers in the local network, not in the domain network, simple local network. They want to communicate each other with the names, with the names. Okay, so then these are the yeah, NetBIOS maps your name to IP addresses. So then this mechanism used to communicate between computers within the same local network with the names we can able to communicate. So why the sentence construction is confusion. Okay, yeah. Within a local network, you want to communicate from one computer to another computer with a name. You can with a name. So these techniques will use, these protocols use to map name and IP addresses. I don't have any other computers in a place. If I have, then also I can able to see those computers in this one. See, it is network. It is showing only one name. If I go to network using network discovery protocol, I can get the other computers names directly, so I can directly communicate in the network. Okay, I don't have any other computers here, that's why I can't able to communicate. Okay, link local multicast name resolution. It is LLMNR belongs to IPv6. Very good, very good. Okay, where are we? I forget. Okay, guys. So WINS already we used earlier days, but now we are not using WINS in both Windows and as well as other systems also we are using. Of course, we can't use in other systems also. WINS does not support FQDN kind of communication and IPv6 communication, means domain and host and domain kind of stuff. It does not support. It is only NetBIOS type only. Okay. So WINS is also naming service, but Windows to Windows type, IPv4 only type. Further development is not there. Even a Microsoft also removed this role from the Windows servers. They put them into the only as a feature, but not as a role. We are all using DNS. DNS is an open protocol. We can use in a Windows, in Linux, in Unix also we can use DNS protocol, and we can make any machine, any server as a DNS server. So that is another few points, guys. Again, we'll back. What is a DNS? Domain name system maps name to IP address. When you are trying to communicate to the any device in the domain, so we don't know the IP address, the DNS server returns the IP address based on your request. Okay. So up to now, we learned plain words, plain thing only. Now this thing will start. As I said, I will open another one. So this is looking neat. This is my DNS server, and I am a client. Okay. So I try to open a website. Okay. Google.com, gmail.com, or a facebook.com, like that. Okay. I try to open it in my browser, or I try to communicate to www.google.com, ping to google.com. What happened? I don't know IP address. What I have to do it? I have to ask my DNS server. So IP address of that google.com. What is the IP address of that google.com? Then DNS server, as I said, DNS server returns the IP address of that website or the host you are asking, you'll get it. But how I know who is my DNS server? How I know who is my DNS server? How to know it? Go to ipconfig/all. See, this is my adapter, right? This is my adapter. And can you see there is a DNS server address? This is my DHCP server address. This is my default gateway, and this is my DNS server address. So who is my DNS server? So the device which is having this IP address is my DNS server. In my case, my Wi-Fi router is a DNS server. Yeah, as I said earlier, DHCP server is nothing but your router. Generally, in our home networks, we use our Wi-Fi router as a DHCP server. And same way, your DNS server is also your router only in this place. So these DNS servers are called a local DNS servers. Okay, local DNS server. Think about it, guys. Your local DNS server means your router, or maybe some Microsoft Windows server with a DNS server inside. Okay, so your local DNS server do not have any records. Originally, you won't get any IP address from your local DNS server. Just for understanding DNS server, I told a story, that is, you want the IP address of google.com or facebook.com, w3schools.com, or instagram.com. Okay, so youtube.com. You want an IP address of that domain, that things. Okay, so you will ask a DNS server, and it returns the DNS returns the IP address. Okay, that is very simple point. And how I know who is my DNS server? So to whom I have to send, right? So it is your DNS server. Okay, that is the DNS server. Of course, I will try to show you from here also. So it is my DNS server address. So in my connection, so in my location, so I have a DNS server with this IP address. So then I have to mention like that. Okay, this is my Wi-Fi router. So this is a DNS server. My router is giving my DNS server address. Of course, my DNS server is nothing but my Wi-Fi router only. But your Wi-Fi router or your local DNS server really does not have any records, like google.com records, facebook.com records, microsoft.com records. They don't have any records. If may have, may not have. So that's a different point. Okay. In reality, what will happen when you send a request to the local DNS server? This local DNS server forward this query. It forward the query to a forwarder. So your local DNS server or your router don't have any information about google.com IP address or facebook.com IP address or youtube.com IP address. So what it will do it forward the query to the forwarder and asking, I want an IP address of that google.com or facebook.com or docs.google.com. So here I put it docs.google.com, mail.google.com, meet.google.com. It asks the IP address of those things to the forwarder. Of course, forwarder also do not have any kind of this google.com, facebook.com records. This also does not have anything. It has some information that is different information, but will forward to forwarder. And where is this forwarder? For local DNS server, I already told in generally people are using internet, right? So our Wi-Fi router, our router is act like a local DNS server in generally, okay? In our premises. Now I have my Wi-Fi router is there. Then where is this forwarder? Router connects to ISP, right? Router connected to ISP, Internet Service Provider, Airtel, ACT, which internet service you are taken. So it is connected to ISP. This forwarder is maintained by your internet service provider. And this forwarder contains a certain information. That information is about route hints. It is a big story, guys. Just like sit, relax, and listen carefully. Okay, no forcing, but listen carefully because no one will tell you again about this big story. It's my favorite story also. No one will tell that much of story. You may not get it. Okay, so listen very carefully. Okay, route hints. What is this route hints, guys? In the world, there are 13 root DNS servers are there. Root DNS servers, which is nothing but a DNS servers only, root DNS servers maintained by ICANN. Okay, you know IANA, ICANN is in our you want to buy a IP address or maybe public IP addresses are there or private IP addresses are there. So who will make these rules and regulations to give an IP address? Okay, IP address schemas, who is defining, who is controlling these IP addresses? ICANN. Who is controlling your domain names? You want to create a website. For a website, you need a domain name is required, right? You have to register a domain name. But who is putting a regularities on this domain name? .com, .net, .org. Who is putting this kind of stuff? Who is maintaining this kind of stuff? Is ICANN only. Okay, these 13 root DNS servers is maintained by this ICANN only. So you can contact any one of the root DNS server. For example, first root DNS server name is A dot, B dot, C dot, like that it will be there. Okay, so root DNS server, first DNS server is A, B, C, D, like that. There is a 13 root DNS servers are there. Okay, so just for example, I want to open docs.google.com. Usually I take a Microsoft.com example, but I am taking now this one. Okay, think like there is a dot after .com. These root DNS servers also like a dot part, like a root, right? Root means it is a represent dot, like a dot. And what is this root DNS server content? information about a top level domains. What are the top level domains? .com, .org, .net, .in, .co.in, okay, .edu, .gov, .xyz, .store, okay, like that. So I will show you that top level domains, guys. Look at here. I want need a domain name registration. You can go to different websites like a GoDaddy, Big Rocks, Inos, including google.com. So from Google also you can purchase a domain name. Okay. So to register your domain name, you can contact anything. Just I'm going to GoDaddy. Top level domain registry. Free domain registry also there. It is a .com website for a 499, 500 per year or per month. We'll see. I want to put a latiftech.com. It is searching what are the combinations are available. So it must be unique, right? So same .com should not be there. Like I have a ICICI.com and ICICI.com. Difficult, right? So then, so it is latiftech.com is available. And this is for first year. For first year, it is only 499 for a first year. Next year onwards, this is the charge. Okay, and also .in, 149 rupees for a 2 years of registration. You register for a 2 years, the latiftech.in it become 149 rupees. .ch maybe it is some very important. We see it is a cost is high. .com, text.com, .co.in is a 99 rupees. .co, .com, .xyz, .net, .org. Yeah, the only limited only it is showing. .store is there. Okay, you can try it.
So what's the difference between .com and .co.in?
Earlier there is a certain defining is there. .com means commercial website. Commercial websites like this. Commercial website .com. Now everyone like this is not a commercial website, right? Now they are not earning any money, but it is still .com. Okay, generally also people are using, but
In
.com means
India,
commercial. .org means organization. .org means organization. .in represents like a India. .in represents India.
.ac.in.
Yeah. Okay. Here also very limited. More suggestions I will go. No, it's only .com management only. For example, Amazon.in, Amazon.com, .com commercial website, US based, .in India based website. So to differentiate the website, also it is very useful. Okay, and another one is like .store. .store means you want to implement a e-commerce website like a Amazon or a Flipkart. These are e-commerce website, right? .store. Any we'll try this one. It is .in, .com, .online, .live, .store, .info, .xyz, .tk. Okay, lot of things are there. You can try like this. So, so this is available, and see .com, .online, .live, .store, .net network. .net means .net network. Mainly only 3 are there earlier. Like .com means commercial, .org means organization, GOV means government, countrywide is also located. .net is also one of the thing. Countrywide government wise like that. .nic again India wise, like a nic.in. NIC means National Informatics Center. So .nic.in, AC like that. US based, UK based country coding is also there. Okay, AU kind of stuff. Okay, so it is for understanding the purpose of extension. Okay, so .org.in, .website, .fun, that is also there. .xyz, .digital, .co.uk, alternative titles. So for example, I want to build a technology website. I want to build a store related. I'm giving live information. Well, depends upon the organization, they'll do it. Okay. So guys, understand top level domains. This .com is nothing but a one DNS server, one server, the .com server, org server, .in server, .edu server, .xyz server, .store server. So we have a different servers. You have a servers are there. Each one is a server. So you are registering into .com, then under .com your domain name will be there. You have a .org, you are registered under .org, so your name is going to under .org server. Okay, you put a register under .net, you put it into .tech, .tk, like that. So many are there. Okay, so these are the server. .com is a server, means the server having an IP address. .org is a server, the server having an IP address. Okay, like a .net is a server, .in is a server, .co.in is a server. Okay, so each server having an IP address. So these top level domains and the server IP addresses stores in the root domain. Stores in the root domain. So what is this forwarder is doing? It forward the packet to the one of the nearest root domain. It forwarder send a request. I will tell what request to the nearest root DNS server and asking who is the IP address of .com server. I want a IP address of .com server. I want a IP address of .com server. That is the request. Now DNS server, root DNS server, check the IP address of .com server. It returns the IP address of .com server. Now I got IP address of .com server. Then the forwarder again go to the .com server with an IP address of .com server and asking, I want an IP address of google.com. I want a IP address of google.com. So then all .com's domains will register under .com server. Google.com, Facebook.com, YouTube.com, w3schools.com, tutorialpoints.com, Microsoft.com. Okay, all .coms. LatifTech.com. For example, if I register LatifTech.com, then that name is also will be registered under .com. Okay, so Google.com, Microsoft.com. Okay, Microsoft.com, and of course their IP address. Of course, they're also maintaining if in case they're also maintaining a DNS server kind of stuff. So they google.com server, DNS server IP address. So what I'm asking, google.com IP address. Now my .com server returns IP address of google.com. Now I know that google.com IP address, right? So google.com maintaining a DNS server, under that one maintaining all google.com the host records. Like I given this thing, google.com having their own DNS server, or maybe they rent a DNS server like that. Okay, google.com DNS server having their host names and respect to their server IP addresses, their host IP addresses mapped here. Now I send a request to google.com and I'm asking, I want this devocs.google.com IP address, and google.com having that one, right? devocs.google.com, mail.google.com, www.google.com, okay, like that. So meet.google.com IP addresses are there, their server's IP address. Then what is this google.com will do it? It returns the IP address of docs.google.com. Finally, what is our query? docs.google.com IP address. What I want, this forwarder is got it, right? This forwarder is got the docs.google.com. Once it is got, it returns to the local DNS server. Yeah, take this IP address of docs.google.com. Once our local DNS server got it, then our local DNS server will give it to our client machine or PC. Okay. Okay. This much big story is there. So very simple, guys. Already I told one important thing is, what is a DNS server? You want to try to communicate to a host or a server or a server in the domain. Okay. So we are trying to communicate with the name. So you cannot communicate with the name. You need an IP address. So if you require an IP address for a particular domain or a particular host in the domain, we'll ask a local DNS server. So we'll ask a DNS server. DNS server returns the IP address. Yes, that point is correct. But okay, remaining big story is there. But what are I told this point is correct. Means you ask a DNS server give you a IP address. That story is correct. But behind the story is also there. Okay. So you got an IP address finally, then you will contact, okay, you will contact the docs.google.com for a getting page like this, docs.google.com. Okay. Same story for w3schools.com or amazon.com or youtube.com or mail.com. So this same story. Okay. May you will get it, sir. You are telling big story. Right? Yeah.
So basically DNS will assign you IP.
No, it won't assign you IP. Assigning means you don't have. I am giving.
We have IP. He will like DNS will fetch the IP. Like if we search google.com or like something like that, so we fetch that IP.
Very good. That is okay. Okay. That is agreeable. Okay. Fetching IP.
Sir,
like you don't. We don't know the IP address. We ask a DNS server. DNS server. Finally, it is fetch the IP address and give it to you. That is good. Okay.
And sir, what will be the work of DORA?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, then what will be the work of DORA in DHCP?
DORA is different. DHCP process is DORA process.
Sir.
For example, you don't have phone number. Okay. Think like this, guys. That is very good. This. Okay. You don't have a phone number. You don't have you don't have you have a mobile, but you don't have a phone number. Okay. I'm a phone number candidate. Like I assign a phone number to you. Okay. So you came and sir, I want a phone number. I give a phone number to you. So you got a phone number. That is your phone number. That is your phone number. That is DHCP. Okay. I'm assigning a phone number to you. You got Aadhaar card number, right? You have your own Aadhaar card number. So that is your number, which is assigned by government or some organization, or maybe from Airtel you got a phone number, or maybe Jio you got a phone number. That phone number is given by organization, means someone, and you got it. That is your phone number. If I ask you what is your phone number, you will tell your phone number only, right? Understand this DHCP concept now?
Basically a unique identity.
No, don't go with other names. Simple. DHCP server is there. Given IP address to a PC, client PC, or a device. So that device IP address is that device IP address only, right? So very simple. Okay. So that is assigning. DNS is not like that. For example, um, I don't know the someone's phone number. Like I want to talk to your Prakash sir. I don't have his phone number. I asked you, do you have a phone number for Prakash sir? Yes, sir. This is the phone number. You are not assigning an IP address. You are not assigning a phone number to me. You are just giving a phone number to me to contact Prakash. Okay, that is phone number is belongs to someone, not belongs to me, not belongs to you. That is DNS. Got it? You want a google.com IP address, google.com's IP address, facebook.com's IP address, or a youtube.com IP address. You ask a DNS server, you'll get the IP address of that DNS server. Okay. It is not assigning, it is just giving or telling IP address. So then you can use IP address to communicate. Same way you given a IP address of your Prakash sir, right? I can communicate to him, or someone in your office. I want to talk to them. So then I ask their phone number, contact name. So then you are giving to me. So then you act like a DNS server. I'm act like a client. So I got that information like a phone number. I got it. That is phone number not belongs to me. It belongs to other. That's the difference. Okay. DORA process is different, guys. DORA process in DHCP, how a server is assigning an IP address to the client. That process method is DORA process. Like a client don't have any IP address. First of all, you don't know who is the DHCP server. I don't have any IP address. I don't know who is the DHCP server. Who is giving IP address? I don't know. First of all, I have to search. Are you DHCP server? Are you DHCP server? Like that, I have to search. Once DHCP server found, then they will say, yes, I am the DHCP server. I have a IP address. Do you want it? I said like, yes, I want a IP address, and please give me that IP address. I send a request. So then DHCP server, okay, take this IP address, lease duration, and configure your IP address. Like with these are the details using acknowledgement. That is DORA process. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So wording little problem. Your confusion is genuine confusion. Okay. Why? Because both are IP addresses. DHCP IP address. DNS is also giving IP address. Point is DHCP assign IP address means you got IP address means your laptop is configured with a IP address. Your mobile phone configured with IP address. That is that mobile phone's IP address or laptop's IP address. Okay, that is DHCP. DNS is not like that. I want to communicate someone. I want their IP address, not my IP address. I want their IP address. I will go to list. Originally, we are not telling the one story. So nowadays, because people are in the mobile contact list, okay. But when I'm learning, so almost like it's a 2009, 2010 time, 2009 time only. When we are went to the class, that time 2003 servers are popular. The guy given one beautiful example, but I'm also not telling complete story. I'm telling very simple story. In the colleges, we have registers, right? Register. Okay. Like in a, if you see apartments, there is a painting, flat number, right? Flat number and name. Painting is there in apartments. Or you go to big offices, office buildings are there. So in office building, office is located in which flat number, door number of the office, name and door number. Office name, door number, office name, door number, office name, door number. So what is the use of this one? You know the building. You went to the building and you just open the registry, check the office name and check the door number. Then you go to door number. Very simple, right? That is, it's not exactly what he told. That is again another story is there. It's like a registry type. It is a register. We register name and IP address. Like a mobile phone contacts list. That is also easy example nowadays because people know mobile phone than any other things. Okay. Uh, okay. So that is a simple way to point. Okay. So here it is. This is the original story, like in the internet. So we are getting an IP address of particular domain or a particular host through internet, how it is works. But you may have a small question, like here it is small question. This is a very big process, but we are getting a IP address very fastly. Yes, that is also there because of this ISP provider also maintain a cache DNS server. What it is? Cache DNS server first. Any user queries for an IP addresses, this cache DNS server also store the information. What is the use? What is the use of storing in cache DNS server? Faster reply. So how you feel your internet is faster. So when you put a website name, immediately you got a IP address, then you can contact to the server with IP address fast. Later page loading, that will take time, but you know the IP address fastly, then you can contact it fastly. That's why the frequently used websites are used by just queried by some user. That information stored in cache DNS server maintained by ISP. In our PC also, we have a stored IP addresses are there, cache. You know, in a browser caches, cookies like that, right? So in a browser caches, okay, when you clean the browsing history, so you can see this is browsing history, download history, cookies and other sites, cache image and files. Okay, so in this cookies and caches, so we have that information. I don't clear anything. And also you can query from here. It won't show, but it will show in your system because my system is a little complex. Display DNS. Already once you are queried, the query information is there here inside. Okay, like this. So the name and IP address will be here. Okay, name and IP address. What is this? Survey. I don't know what it is, but still this is IP address. Okay. Most of them are linked to my local account only. I'm not going up also. But important is once you are open a website for a first time or freshly after a flush of DNS queries, so this query will happens for a first time. From next time onwards, it don't do this much query because already we have a information in our PC. It is you will get it from the PC only. Okay, or you will get a information from cache. Yeah, that is more than enough, guys. Good. This is the story. Okay, so again I'm going back once again. What is DNS? Domain name system. Port number is 53. DNS server maps name to IP addresses. Okay, any name like a host name or domain names, you can use the word based on your thing. Maps name to IP address. Okay, user want to communicate to a host in the domain or communicated to a PC or communicated to a google.com. Example, you want to communicate it to a google.com or mail.google.com or a facebook.com. Okay, so the user don't know the IP address of google.com, so the query went to the DNS server. How do you know your DNS server? In your adapter, DNS server address. DNS server's address is configured. DNS server's address is already configured in your NIC, right? So you contact a DNS server. DNS server check DNS server check the check in the DNS server and returns the IP address of google.com or facebook.com like that. Okay, that's it. Okay, example for an understanding of DNS server is mobile phone contact list. Tell that story only. Okay, because it is very easy. You will understand very easy mobile contact. So you have a name and phone numbers. Okay, so again, guys, IP address and a DNS. Again, you have a mobile and in mobile you have a SIM card. The SIM card having phone number, right? That is your phone number. That is your phone number. But in your contact list, you have others' phone numbers, right? To contact any person, for example, I want to contact others, or I want to usually Shubham, or I didn't remember your names much. Okay, yeah, Pradeep or Ria, I want to call. So what I open? I open contact list, dial, but originally call goes with the phone number only. That's it for a DNS. This additional story I told for understanding. Yeah, of course, this is important to understand name and IP address part. This is the additional story I told for better understanding how originally DNS we are getting IP address through internet, how we are getting for explaining. And moreover, guys, this explanation mostly you won't get from any other resources. It is very narrowly people tell. And a lot of other information is also there, like a DNS records and all. You are not server candidates. You are okay. So if you are want how DNS is there, how DNS records are there, okay, type of records, and that one separate chapter, that is you are not belongs to that point. So that's why I'm not taking. Okay. So this is about your DNS.